Oh.
It's all good as long as I got somewhere to line it up.
Oh, because you see it in the thing. You see.
Yeah, you see the spike, and then the camera picks it up as well, and then I can just, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. What's up,
Brad?
How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Yourself?
Good.
Yeah, good shit, man. What have you been up to?
Currently on tour with Parkway Drive, doing their 20-year anniversary shows, which have been full on. Massive shows, biggest shows we've ever done or they've ever done.
What do you do for them?
I'm a set builder, so pretty much all the pieces and parts that are on the floor and on the stage.
So you're pretty good with the Lego then?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, big Meccano set. But I'm one of 3 carpenters basically. They call us set carpenters, set carps. Got a.
What's the prerequisite for that? Do you have any actual?
Be a legend? Nah. Just prerequisite for doing this and going on tour is just having experience on the road and knowing that it's not a, it's not a cruisy ride. It's not. Sometimes it's not a cruisy ride. Sometimes it is. But you got to have tenacity and problem-solving skills, and you got to be able to work under pressure.
Oh, I'm fucked then.
Yeah, you got to be able to work under pressure, I guess. Sometimes you might not get to a load in until later than you planned, and you got to be able to get in there and get the grit. Get in there, grit and bear, and get it put together. Make sure the show goes on, and you got to have tour experience because there's tour etiquette. There's things people's feet you don't stand on. There's time constraints you don't overshoot.
That's one big thing. When I know, obviously, I've never played any gigs even 1% of the size of what you're doing at the moment. But is one thing I was trying to do is never get in the way. I don't want to be. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a big one.
I never want to be a problem. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. You just don't want to be a problem for anyone else in another department or in your department or who's in charge of your department. You got to there's a lot of thinking on your feet and making sure things get done for, your department or there's a format and a structure, the way that things have to come out, and you got to make sure that you're, if you don't have a clear understanding of that, you'll be caught out straight away and you'll struggle and people will get upset with you. And then, we talk about it all the time, there's 1% jobs that are constantly happening, that are preparation for a load in or load out or anything. And it's the more you let those little jobs kind of disappear on you because you think,
they build up.
A little 1% job at the end of the night can be an hour's worth of work that you fucking could be doing as you're going. Yeah. So if you don't really, as we say, take your medicine and just get the job done, then you struggle later.
Take your Viagra's.
Yeah. Make sure you get all that.
So, how many blokes you got with you at the moment then?
I think when I saw on the flight list, there's about 58 crew.
Is it all guys or?
No, we've got a bit of a dynamic there. Guys, girls, theys, thems, all the rest. And
can you be allowed to bring any your wife along kind of thing, or are you married?
It's not really. It's not afforded, and there's no time for family and stuff like that.
Right.
But I've got a partner and a child at home. But no, it's. Even the band don't bring their partners, Yeah. Some people do. Some bands have their girlfriend that'll come with them or something because they're kind of, they don't have kids or, they can do it. But it's not viable. You try and meet your family or friends or partners or whatever. Everyone tries to meet them in the city, either you're local to or at the end of the tour you kind of bring them on and then you go on holiday or,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because you wouldn't want to be sitting on the tour bus and there's someone breastfeeding.
We have actually had that literally in Europe this year. One of the string players had a daughter 7 weeks before we went on tour.
Yeah, okay.
And she was breastfeeding. And
so you've got a string ensemble.
Yeah, we have a string. What do they call it again? I don't know. There's 3 of them. It was a quintet, but now it's something else.
Triplet?
Nah, I can't remember. Oh, what was it? I can't remember. They're going to hate me now if they watch this. There's 3 of them. We've got a cello, viola, and violin player.
Yeah, okay.
I think I said that right. Sorry if I didn't.
Yeah,
girls. But she was, Irina, her name is, she was breastfeeding on the bus and freezing the breast milk. She had a big stock because her husband's at home in France. Was being a full-time dad at 7 weeks old, baby. He's doing a good job. But it does. It has happened. That's the first time I'd seen that happen. But it's good. You got to be. She's put in everything to be there.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So,
taking
many
it
different
serious.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Especially if that's the way you make a living.
Yeah,
Because
well-
that's the thing. You get used to, you know, like where I first met you, working your normal jobs you do. And that's,
Normie job.
Yeah, and then when you actually think about on tour, because you see it a lot in comments online and people, you know, when you see a band will have to cancel something or they have to do this, and then people are like, oh, fucking how hard can it be?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's like, man, they're like, what, you stand on stage for an hour or two, what, and then nothing. It's like,
No, ignore that shit. We always ignore that. Like, we don't even look
but people
online
just
at anything.
But you don't, like, unless you've been in the situation you're in, or like, you know, I've been backstage and stuff before, and then you're like, oh, okay.
That's 5% of the job, man. Like the gig and the backstage culture and everything is not even part
People
of
think they're
everything
just sitting back, sipping
Nah.
like sipping cocktails, and then like, righto, you're up. Yep, let's go sing. All right,
it's not
cool,
the case.
done. Yeah.
Well, with the crew, it's not. You know, we're in at 7 a.m., you know, hanging motors and whatever else, getting trucks unloaded. We've got 8 semis on tour this one. So
Yeah, shit.
it's a lot of movement, there's a lot of departments. There's lighting, there's audio, there's video, a set,
Yeah.
automation, because we have moving parts.
Doesn't have to be one of the biggest metal band kind of entourages at the moment, wouldn't it?
Out of Australia for sure, 100%.
Because what's really comparable then at that level really then? There's obviously Metallica, but as far as like not the non-on school, like you're not talking about Metallica, you're not talking about Iron Maiden. What are the newer era?
Well, we main support Parkway main supported Metallica just 2 months ago. So that was a pretty big,
That's big.
step up at a festival in Norway. That was great.
So there's not really from the old. That's not old school. There's not many bands at that level now, really, is there? For metal?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there is other bands obviously in the same realm and doing things like from the States. There's like, you know, Falling in Reverse and stuff like that. Like they're a massive band as well.
Big, yeah.
We've played alongside them and they pull massive numbers as well. But, you know, that's from their world. But from Australia, there's literally, I don't think there's comparable.
Have you seen his TikToks? Ronnie's?
Yeah, I love his TikToks.
They're the same.
I love it. He just
Funny
doesn't
as
give a
fuck.
shit. He doesn't give a shit.
No,
you call
I
him
like-
out, he comes back at you.
Yeah, I like it.
Good,
Eh?
yeah.
It's funny.
No, I like him. I reckon he's cool.
Yeah, have you met him?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. I will one day, I reckon.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very different comparing to, obviously, we did oil and gas years ago and then going to do this. It's a totally different world.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's funny because what was that? That was 10 years ago. That was 2015 odd, wasn't it?
That was when I left. I started in
right.
2012.
I left there in 2015, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all kind of
We
left.
jammed for a bit.
Yeah.
I still remember one of your riffs.
Yeah.
I like your riffs, man. I always thought you were a good guitarist.
Cheers.
But,
I should play more. But just
remember
don't
the
get
drummer we had?
Yeah, who was that again?
Hobbsy.
Hobbsy, that's it.
He was just on another planet.
Yeah, he was.
You remember?
It was good, but it was good. Good for the.
He was just cooked, man.
Yeah.
I remember.
But he just slotted in with us and just played some. hit
he's
the
a
tubs,
nice
you know?
fella, but
we just played some heavy riffs.
Fuck,
and-
he was on another planet because I remember at pre-starts, one of the guys, you know, when you're doing your exercises,
yeah.
he'd like, you know, bend down, touch his toes. One of the guys would literally fill his pocket up with rocks. And then it would take him, we're doing like 10-hour days. And then we'd get on the bus at the end of the day and he'd just flip out, who the fuck's
put
these-"
rocks in here.
And it's like all day it took you to
It took you all day. You didn't put your hand in your pocket once.
And he's throwing
go,
these
"There's
rocks down the bus. And then this guy would do it every day. And I was like, fuck, you're retarded, man.
Well, that was the place, man, for finding units that we worked with. Fucking hell, there's a lot of them on
come
there.
across a lot of them for sure, man.
I actually jammed with, not just you on there, before we jammed, I jammed with another one of my mates, Leon, good dude from Brisbane.
How did
I
I
don't
actually
think
meet
we-
you there?
I think we met in a mess one day. I think I just said, I think you had you just got crosses tattooed on your face. And I was like, is that for the band? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, you must like the same shit I do then. And then that was kind of how it happened.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think that's how we met. Pretty sure it was in mess one day.
Bizarre that you there. That it's because I think I hit you up before we had on the podcast, but remotely, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's actually cool that we managed to tee it up because I don't want to do them remotely. I like to
Yeah, have it like this.
have it here. Yeah.
Good, proper format you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and then you're not beholden to an internet connection or the quality of their.
No, they're not the
Camera or
same
mic.
when you just see the...
It's not. No,
The
and
webcam
it's
in
too,
your face.
because I've done a couple. Like I did that one with Neil Timon.
Oh, yeah.
And And that was cool, but he was using his phone and headphones, and it was kind of
audio sucks and it's hard work.
And when you're sitting in front of someone, it's different, you know.
Yeah. I knew I'd get here one day with the tour. That's why I thought I will wait till I can get here. At least we're here now and we can do it.
Yeah. Have you been to Perth much, aside from work, or not really?
Yeah. Well, I've come here on tour a bit with my old band with Boris the Blade.
Okay,
I've come here. I think this is my second or third time with Parkway.
Yeah, okay.
I've come here about 5 times with I Out His Murder.
Yeah, shit.
I came here with Sunclodo. I've come here heaps with bands.
They're coming back now, eh?
Yeah, well, I'm still.
I haven't heard that new song yet.
Yeah, I've got it.
What's it called?
God Complex.
God
it was written. Actually, I'm doing their work now, but it was written
doing a bit of promo.
Yeah, a year and a half ago. Well, Ro, the new guitarist, is a good close friend of mine. I work for him as well. He has his own little thing called I Built the Sky.
Oh,
I say
little,
but it's massive. He's just done 3.1 million streams on one of his biggest songs, which is sick.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on social media.
Yeah.
In his early days, and he was getting a few followers. So
yeah, he's now in the fold with Sunk.
Is the two brothers in the band? Eh?
Yeah, Dane and Jace, so singer and drummer.
Oh, okay.
And then Sean was their mate. He's the bass player, but they booted Luke, and Ro was there as funny because me and Ro, we went to different high schools, but we were both obsessed with Sunclodo when we were kids.
Yeah.
And we both played the same music. We covered Sunclodo stuff. We both played similar styles of guitars. We bought guitars that were like the guys from the band. Like we loved the band for so long, and then we kind of we weren't really friends from. It's just a stupid teenage ego thing, probably more on my part, where I picked on him like an asshole I was. And then I actually discovered his I Built the Sky project on my own in like 2017, and I was like, fuck, good on him. Like, this is fucking awesome sounding music. And I wrote a comment on there and said, I built the Periphery. Little did I know, his thousands of supporters came on the defense and came at me because it was something I didn't know. It was a point of contention saying that he was basically ripping off Periphery. Like the internet had done this work before me, but I wasn't saying it in disdain. Like you suck. I was like, man, this sounds awesome. Like good on you. I haven't seen you in fucking 15 years and look at you ripping. So unfortunately, he saw my comment and thought, fuck, this guy is still a fucking jerk from like the same guy he was in high school, which I'm not. I'm just a massive supporter of music.
Did he block you or that one?
Nah, he never responded. But then a guitar repairer that we were mutually friends with, Harron's guitar repairs from Melbourne. I started seeing him for my guitar repairs, then worked out they lived near each other for like a number of years growing up. And I sort of said to him, oh, fuck, I think he thinks I'm still an asshole because I wrote a comment. So he mentioned that to him, and then we caught up at a Periphery gig, and I was like, I just said, I didn't mean anything bad by that. I'm actually just stoked to see that you're still killing it. Like, you know, we were in battle of who could be a better guitarist when we were 15, and now clearly you're the winner, you know. And, we just kind of hit it off, became good friends.
That's cool, yeah.
Then obviously he knew that I've been working with the bands I've been working with for years and my own bands and touring, so he was always picking my brain about etiquette and things on the road, or like, just how to approach certain things. And in the end, he started putting a band together and touring, and I went on the road with him.
He was always doing it. It was his solo thing, wasn't it?
It's always been a solo thing, but he made a band because he was playing just him with backing tracks and stuff, and it just wasn't hitting as good. So he made a killer band with Row One. He's a keyboardist from Tasmania. He's an insane keyboardist, killer. There was Sam on bass at the time, who was another high school friend. He's a great player as well. Then David Parks, who's like the country's best fucking drummer there is at the moment. He's filling in for everyone. He's about to fill in for someone huge, which I'm not going to tell you, but it'll come out soon. He filled in for Amity. He's filled in for Pale Dusk. He's filled in for he's the filling guy now. He's that good. He can learn shit overnight. He's got a bunch of videos online that have gone viral in the millions because he's just like fucking with rhythmic stuff, and he's really good. Really cool. Went on the road as a backline guitar tech for him. We did a few, really cool tours, and then that's when the Sunk thing came up, that they were coming back, but potentially the guitarist was maybe not going to work out,
Okay.
the original. And then Ro was there saying, you know, hi, I can do this. And they pulled him in and they wrote 2 songs together. There's a long way to get to where the God Complex came from. I just realised we've been talking about it for 5 minutes just to get back on St. Clodo. But anyway, they recorded the 2 songs, I think, maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. Yeah. And I've been waiting for this song to come out because it's the first one that came out, The Gallows Weight, was everyone was fucking blown away by it because it rules.
I need to have another listen. I think I listened to it on my phone at work or something.
Yeah, no, listen to it properly. Yeah. Forrester did it. He produced it.
Oh, okay. Forrester Savell or something? Yeah.
And sonically, it's just the most fucking brutal sounding, like metal, real metal recording, you know, like real drums, real like in a room getting it done, but it sounds so current. But the next song, The God Complex, it's going to come out. I think.
Oh, it's not out yet.
No, it's out. What date is it?
It might be on Patreon or something.
They've put it up there, but it's out officially in about a week, and it's fucking sick. So
check it out.
Listen to it. Yeah,
because I love that before or between birth and death.
Yeah, it's the best record.
That's one of my favourite metal albums ever.
Same.
And I'm surprised how many people don't know about it.
Yeah, and it's from an era that just the internet wasn't. I believe honestly when that record came out, if I think back and go, when did the old cult of music, of heavy music, die before the digital age? And I think it was then, which was like 2003 that came out.
Yeah.
It's the last record I physically remember buying and putting into a Discman.
You had the cardboard sleeve thing, eh?
I was at school and I was going up to my friend's place in Ballarat. So I trained into the city in Melbourne, went to the JB Hi-Fi, the old one on Burke Street. And I bought the record and I put it in my Discman, and then I got on a V-line and went to Ballarat, and that's the first time I heard it. And I don't remember from then ever buying a disc again. Like that was my only medium to listen to music. Yeah. After that, it was iPods and everything, and I never bought another one. So it's funny, between birth and death, I believe that record was between the birth and death of the original music age, you know, before digital. It holds a big significance to me as well, because not only is it one of the best fucking metal records of all time, it's just at a very time.
It's so well written, man. And you know what gets me on there every time I listen to is the drums. It's like some of the best drumming I've ever heard.
Yeah, Dane's a very good composer.
It's not. It's actually kind of technical in a way. Some of it, and it's not relentless. Some of it.
Yeah, I've been able to ask them a lot of questions I always had. It's obviously awesome. I'm lucky I get to be mates with them now. I've talked with them, but I got to ask a lot of questions, burning questions from when I was a kid about it. Yeah. The way they recorded it, and just
even the production, a lot of the guitar tones and everything on there is amazing, man.
Yeah, they did that with Phil McKellar. I think that's how I say his last name. He's now just works for the ABC and TV, but at the time he did. Pretty sure he did Grinspoon. He did a lot of Aussie like iconic shit back then, and he got the best out of him. He took him up to this property.
Still stands out to now. It still sounds great. It's one of them milestone records. Like, you know, when you listen to an album and it's got like just sounds that are really significant to you, like the sound of, like, one for me is like the Black Album.
Justice for All as well.
Yeah.
Got its own.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Black Album and Vulgar Display of Power. Yeah. And then that Between Birth and Death is another one that's just, it's got a sound that's
definitely. And it is, I don't know if you might not know this, or a lot of people might not know it, but and if the boys are listening and I tell this wrong, sorry. But I remember they told me that they were at a point where they had been signed as Sony, and it was massive, you know, their first album they got a lot of money, a lot of push and all this, and then they thought they could kind of work on their own terms, but the record company wanted to fucking push, and then they started recording a whole album, and the studio they were at got broken into and everything got stolen. Oh, okay. So they fucking went, we got to restart, and they started that whole new album, which became Between Birth and Death. Oh, right. While being under pressure by the label saying, we gave you $500,000 last album, we're giving you 60 this time, good luck. Like they were under a lot of pressure. So those little Easter egg knowledge, I think, makes that album even better, because they fucking had to go.
You could probably hear the pressure in the vocals, because the vocal delivery on that album as well, it's so what's the fucking word for it? It's so raw. Like it doesn't sound like, you know, a lot of metal, it's a guy screaming, but a lot it's like it's the put on the screaming. Yeah. But there's certain albums where you can hear how angry they are, like Great Southern Trendkill. And then
that's drugs and alcohol and
but you can hear the rage, man.
Hate,
you can hear that hate, and then that Between Birth and Death, you can hear he just sounds so pissed off.
I've worked with people that were actually touring with Pantera around that era of that, and they were in really bad place with each other. Like they had separated like tour buses. They fucking hated seeing each other, but they were under pressure because the general knowledge of the band outside of their world was that they were imploding. No, they were imploding, and they knew that. So they were like super insecure about it. So they're, the drugs and the alcohol and everything was just brewing like a bigger internal fight. So they actually recorded that album without Phil.
Yeah, and
then he did their lyrics, and then they were like, "Holy fuck!" Because he was just he was torn apart inside. He had his back injury, drug problems, hatred for the band, hatred for where he'd become, everything, and Terry Date just made him fucking bring it out. So that's why that's so aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the types of things that makes these records. The Between Birth and Death thing. They got put under pressure, and they came out with I agree, it's one of the best heavy metal records of all time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. So because after they broke up, didn't they? The Electric Horse or something was.
Yeah, that was the two brothers. They did that.
That had some cool stuff, but it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't on that level.
No, and it's been very invigorating for everyone, even me as a fan, let alone someone who works for him now. Just seeing him back, because I think Jason's got one of the best. He's one of the best vocalists. Like, for not only screaming, he sounds like no one else.
Great singer too.
But his voice,
very
his
unique.
singing voice is just exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I think he would love hearing this as well. It's kind of like old mate from Dthroned. Like he's got his own thing as well.
That's right.
That's what he would want. Big fan of his as well.
There's another Perth band, Daybreak. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Yeah, their singer Sean. He's another vocalist. I was speaking about him on the last podcast episode about he's got that unique thing going on. If you were to put him on an album somewhere as a guest, and they never put him in the notes,
you'd know.
You'd go, that's Sean. And then
I should check them out more. I know
they're awesome, man. Really good.
I've never really given them the time to listen to them. I should.
They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple good Perth bands. Dark Matter, another good one.
Yeah.
You familiar with them?
I've heard that name.
Oh, mate.
I hear names and I see them.
One of the best metal bands in Australia for sure. Right. Probably my favourite Aussie metal band at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking awesome. I'll have to show you some stuff after.
Yeah.
They're really good, man.
Yeah.
So how long does this tour go for?
Well, it's over tomorrow.
So this is the
last show's
stop.
tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
But it's been all up, including production, rehearsals. It's been about 3 weeks.
And what's after then for you?
Go back to being a normal electrician loser in Melbourne.
Go fucking hook up some, go screw in some light bulbs.
Yeah. No, I do. I still do industrial stuff at home. So
I need a couple of plugs fixed, mate, after this podcast.
I don't do domestic. Fucking call someone. Yeah. So just going back to that. Go back to being normal. I don't really. I could fill out my maybe not a whole year, but I could do a lot more touring stuff with other bands. But I try to listen to the old, some of the older touring legends that have problems in their life because they're stuck in just that. They don't have like a trade like you and I or whatever. They've been on the road since they were kids, so it's like that's all they know. Yeah. But then their family relationships suffer, you know, and so I'm just taking that advice and I just pretty much work for Parkway now. That's it, because I want to keep, I want to listen to those advices, and I've got a daughter that I want to be present for, but I also want her to, learn from what I do, because this is my passion. It's like something that when I went to orientation when I was a kid, like going to primary school, and they're like, "What do you want to be?" I said Slash, like Guns N' Roses Slash, because I just wanted to be a musician or around it. So, I get to dip my toes in still doing this world, but then I go home and then I'm still, a family man. And
you're still doing your own music as well.
And that's right. And try to write a few more riffs and stuff with people. And bit of producing. Bit of producing. I think just having a good balance is key, because I'm happy to do a couple of tours a year with the band, because I get to do exponential things like, we did Rock Am Ring this year. Rock in Park as well. We've done Download with 100,000 people watching the show.
Yeah, that's insane.
Grass Pop in Belgium's another favourite one. That was insane. So, I've got these insane opportunities not only to go to these festivals I've watched since I was a kid, thinking I'd never even go there, to now I'm helping the guys headline these shows. So
it's crazy.
It's enough for me. I don't need to stay on the road for 9 months a year. I'm happy to do 2, maybe 3 tours a year with them. They're all family people as well, so they want to they want to get home to their kids.
Take some time off.
Yeah, they don't want to burn themselves out. So, yeah.
You got any good stories from on the road? Any funny ones?
Oh, fuck.
Something I can put into a reel.
Let's think. Nothing that's probably PG enough to talk about, but
This ain't a PG podcast.
I don't know. What can I think of? Now you put me on the spot. You should ask me this before we started. I would have thought of one. I don't know. Always the classic ones are funny when you're like in the US, and I'm sober now, so I don't party or drink or do drugs anymore, but have done, but I won't do anymore. But, back a few years ago, we would party a fair bit in different cities. And actually one night I just remember not partying and being on the bus in New York, and certain members of our crew were out bar hopping, and the bus was literally letting out its bloody air brakes to take off, and we were just sitting there, I think having a pizza or whatever, and they come bursting through the door, falling onto the bus driver, then coming down the alleyway to the bunk alley and collapsing on the floor, covered in pizza and all this stuff, because they had to run like 10 blocks to make sure they made the bus.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Lots of stories like that. I don't know, man. Wild nights in Vegas as well.
Yeah.
Just doing crazy exponential things. I can't really think of right now. Maybe I have to come back to it. I'll try and think of it.
Yeah, sure.
I'll try and think of another really funny.
Oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought there, mate.
Yeah.
So you've pretty much been basically all over the world with them then, hey?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I've done Europe 3 times. Done
US?
the States. Yeah.
What was one of your favourite moments?
Moments?
Yeah, just all favourite place to be on tour?
Probably, let's think, festival tour we did last year. We got to do Download Festival.
Yeah.
And we played before Slipknot, which was, they're the headlining slot. And looking out on that iconic hill with 100,000 people just losing their shit, and singing the songs and jumping around. That was a pretty cool moment. Another really cool moment was definitely the same year we did Grass Pop Festival, which is the Belgium Grass Pop metal meeting. And I reckon the moment was they were playing the ballad that they play, which is Darker Still. Yeah. And I remember looking out, peering out from behind the stage and looking out and seeing, like, I think apparently it was like 90,000 people, and they all had their phone torches in the air.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it just looked like fireflies, and
That'll look fucking epic.
And the production, all the lighting and everything at that moment is really like, it's enchanting, I guess you'd call it. It's a descriptive word that I've barely ever used in my life, but I just did, and like, it was a really cool moment, just going, holy fuck. Like, you kind of get caught up in it, like where they're at, or where the band's at, or where the show's gone or whatever. And then you're running around all day, like,
and moments melt into other moments, and it just becomes like a grind, like your grind of every day. And then,
but sometimes those bits snap you back, and you're like, holy shit, this is actually something pretty epic.
Yeah.
And we look out as well, and you see, members of Slipknot and Architects and other bands all enjoying the show as well. That's in cool. Support, which is really cool. So, they're probably
it'd be pretty gratifying.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I was probably not I don't know if you could answer the question, probably more for a Parkway person, but just them transitioning to the arena thing, that's a pretty big step.
Yeah.
I wonder how they knew that they could take that step, because that's a big leap, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is. All credit to them, man. They just make a decision and go head first into it.
Because there's a lot of bands that they've supported that don't even do that.
Yeah, well, it's a funny thing. I don't know. The support just keeps growing. Even, some of the old, hardcore fans that love to probably shit can how their music's gone or whatever. You still have this. You want to support them as well.
Yeah,
I guess there's a bit of tall poppy syndrome. Aussies are classic for, but also real patriotic as well. So you get a bit of both. But I think they're just like, I know for a fact that they're like, well, Metallica will retire one day.
Someone's going to take the reins.
Rammstein will retire. All those bands are going to have to retire. They're 10, 15 years younger than them. So someone's got to take the slot. So they've got to make their way there. So they're paving a pathway there, and they just keep pushing, and people are responding. So it's just like, I guess
that's good.
And I'll give them credit because they go into it wholeheartedly knowing that it could just backfire or fuck up. But that's like,
I'm sure there's been a few close calls too.
Oh yeah, there's always things going on, but the band's just like, who cares? Like, we've fucking come this far. We never even thought we'd break 2,000 cap, venues, let alone doing this shit. So yeah, this arena run that's just happened is, I think the biggest show was Sydney at Kudos Bank Arena. It was like 14,500 people.
Yeah, okay.
Just for Parkway Drive.
Yeah,
that's another moment, I guess. It's hard to think. It was only a week ago, but that was a pretty massive moment, standing there watching them play and going, fucking hell, they're here. All these people are here just for this band.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's another thing that I've spoken with people before is obviously you're the same age as me, and when we yes, well, we grew up and we had tons of guitar heroes to look up to. You had not Slash, Dime.
James Hetfield.
Yeah, that's
Kirk
right.
Hammett.
Kirk Hammett.
Not me, more you, Dave Mustaine. Not me.
Not a fan?
Nah.
Really?
Nah, I wasn't. I was just a egotistical, smug Metallica diehard, of course.
Marty Friedman.
Yeah,
we had all these guys, and then you look now, and there's not really any new age guys that have that caliber. Yeah, icons like that. And then you think of the bands. You got like Metallica and all that, and then like you're saying, they're going to retire. Yeah, but they're going to retire, and it's like, who's taking the reins? It's cool to see that a band is doing that now.
Yeah,
because not that long ago, before they were doing it, it's like, well, who's the modern bands that are even that are like this generation's Metallica? There's not many that are on that level.
The hard thing is obviously the digital world now, because it's on offer for everyone, everywhere. There's an audience.
That's right.
Like it's directed where, we used to just buy magazines, and what we read in the magazines, you got the same magazine as me.
Yeah.
That's all we got. It was like
now
kind of like tunnel vision.
So many things
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
tunnel vision. Now there's a 360-degree option for everyone to, enjoy or find bands and people. It becomes clouded because you just there's no direct
you can get
anymore.
your music out there so easy now, but then it's also like it's a double-edged sword because there's so much out there that it's like it's hard to get your band noticed. As easy it is to get it noticed, it's also as hard to get it noticed because people are like, why would I listen to that when I got that much other music at my fingertips on Spotify right now?
Yeah.
Why would I dedicate my time? And people's time is even less now because of the TikTok thing. You get to catch their attention in fucking, what is it, like 3 seconds or something now?
Or less, and then hold it and retain it for more than 7.
And that's getting worse probably now with people's attention span. So it's fucking it's changed.
I just thought of a funny moment from tour.
What's that?
That I could probably say.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. So it was my first European tour with Parkway, and the Parkway Drive production manager is one of my good friends, Fishy, and he's an ex-electrician as well. Still calls himself one, but he hasn't been doing it for a long time. Yeah, you heard that. Anyway, so he's a legend, and took me on tour obviously after just meeting him in Melbourne to help convert some things back in the day, and we just kind of, all the work that he couldn't pick up because he was so busy orchestrating a whole thing, I would kind of just follow around and pick up all the little loose ends and be able to just finish things off for him. So that's kind of how we started. But on the European tour, we had a catwalk with a pop-up trapdoor, and it's all just grid mesh. So it's all boxed in with fabric. So if you're in the crowd, you can't see in there. But if you're on top, you can look down and you could see me because I'd be under there with fire extinguishers and, operating the door and whatever. At any moment, you kind of got to be there just either for, something in the show because like Winston would come up and down a couple of times in the show, whatever. Anyway, it was towards the end of the tour and me and Fishy had a discussion about what could be funny to do. And this was an arena run in Europe. So it was pretty much like it was minimum of 8,000 people a night or 7,000 people and maximum of about 12,000 every night. Yeah. And we're trying to think of something funny to do. And it was my first European tour. And so I was the troll underneath the catwalk every night and whatever. And so he goes, what if you get naked at the end underneath? So on the very
just
last,
to put him off.
Just to put him off. Well, on the very last show, the whole band walks out the catwalk, arm in arm, and waves and says thanks for the night. And they kind of, take a bow and say thanks.
Yeah.
And then they start the final song. Well, in the last show, I took all my clothes off and I was underneath. And then when they were all the way out in front of like 10,000 people, I was underneath bashing with like a shifter, getting their attention. And there's a funny moment where they're all looking down and pointing, going, holy fuck, because I was under there slapping my ass, just making sure that I said, thanks for the tour. And that was a pretty funny moment.
Yeah. This is a photo of that, is it?
There's a photo of them responding to like looking down and going, what the fuck? Yeah. I don't know where that photo is. I'll have to ask one of the media guys, but it was pretty funny.
It's fuck, eh? So how did you get into the whole music thing anyway?
Touring or in general?
Just in general. Guitar, is that the only instrument you play?
Nah. Actually, I think I went backwards in instruments. So originally I wanted to learn drums.
Yeah, okay.
And I got drum lessons at school.
It's so much more fun than guitar, drums.
Yeah. Well, I loved them, and I was getting drum lessons in year 7, like first of high school, and begging my parents to get me a drum kit, and because they didn't want them basically in the fucking house and noisy, they're just and I got put off for 2 years, and I was fucking over it because I just wanted to play and create and do more. But my cousin actually is the one who initially got me into guitar. He's my cousin Damien. He phenomenal guitarist. He'd been learning guitar before. He was a couple of years older than me, before me. But we're into the same music. Like we loved Silverchair, we loved Sun Clodo, Fear Factory, Metallica. We both loved the exact same music. So he lived, kind of 45 minutes up in the hills from where I lived. And on school holidays, I'd go hang out with him. Yeah. And he'd just play guitar, and I'd just be sitting there tapping away on a fucking rebound pad and be like, fuck, this is shit. I wish we could jam. Like we had actual drums. And then he said to me, why don't you learn like a guitar riff or something? So I was like, yeah, righto. So he handed me his guitar, drop D tuning straight away. And he's like, what do you want to learn? And I was like, what about Freak by Silverchair? Just that, right? So he pulled out tabs, old school printed tabs on A4 paper like we all used to do. And he just explained what string means what, the numbers of the frets and, So he's like, this is the intro. And then he played it physically like in front of me, and I was like, cool, and I grabbed it off him and I just started playing it, and he's like, yeah, fuck, you got like rhythm straight away, like if you never played guitar properly, like. And then he went to grab the guitar back off me and was like, the next bit, which is the pre-chorus, and I just kind of looked at the tab and just started just playing that next bit. Okay. And then he kind of just freaked out and went, fuck, man, like, why did you play drums? You should play guitar. Yeah. And I was like, no, fuck that, man. No, I'm a drummer. I'm not a guitarist, Anyway, went home after that weekend, and I was still sitting there in my room just fucking tapping away on a fucking rebound pad, and I just thought, fucking, I should just get a guitar. Like, why not? Yeah. Why not get another instrument? Like, I love all music anyway. So I rang him up and just said, what are you doing with your old guitar? And it was I still got it. It's just a Stratocaster, like copy. It was called an Onyx.
Okay.
It's just a real cheap beginner guitar.
I think I've heard of them, yeah.
I'll send you a photo of it when I go home. I've still got it.
And, right.
Have
you still got that Kramer?
Yeah, I do. Oh. Yeah. I haven't got it out. I need to get that thing working again. But anyway, I said, what are you doing with it? Because last time I seen it was in the corner of his room, and he tried to rewire the pickups and shit, and it was all like a bit apart. And he goes, nothing. I said, do you want to sell it? And he goes, yeah, you can have it for $10. So I bought that for $10 and then took it to a local guitar shop and said, look, I just want the scratch plate just put back on. Yeah. I don't care if it's wired up or not. I'm just going to acoustically use this electric guitar. Yeah. And they just went, no, man, take your guitar to this luthier. He's now dead. Stuart Mail, awesome guitar luthier. He used to make his own stuff. Yeah. He lived around the corner from me. And that's when I first met him, and I bought him the guitar, and he just went, I tell you what, leave this with me for 2 weeks and you'll get it back like it's better than it was when it was brand new. Yeah. And he put Godot machine heads on it and stuff, and put real good shit into it. I think he did stainless steel frets like on this piece of shit guitar. But it still fucking plays great today, fucking 25 years later. Yeah. And that's where it started. And just him, my cousin saying to me, fuck, you just picked that up easy. Like, why don't you play guitar? When I got this guitar back, I was sitting in my room every night after skateboarding all day, and then when the sun goes down, I've got to go home. I just sit in my room with headphones on and playing Silverchair and
That's cool. Yeah.
System of a Down and Metallica and just, and then I started figuring out other tunings and just went from there. And then it was high school, so then I joined a band with a bunch of mates and we used to play punk covers and like Blink-182.
What were your main influences then?
Then was definitely always Silverchair.
I never got into them, mate.
Yeah, no, they're like pinnacle for me.
Yeah.
If you had to, like, I don't know, some people like, I think that Daniel Johns is like Australia's David Bowie to me. He's a fucking phenomenal songwriter. Writes metaphorical lyrics and stuff. Like now, I like that,
Yeah.
And I think he not only Silverchair guys, but Sunkload as well, because they followed him. They gave every teenage kid a dream that you can be a teenage like rock star.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why it was so influential, because I was into it so deeply as a kid that I was like, look, there's an option to be this or do this, but they're doing it. So my older brother as well, he's 5 years older than me, so he had played a big part because he was starting to get into heavier stuff and I'd hear it. And then
that's the same as my brothers when I was like fucking 6 years old.
But I went heavier though. He was into Rage Against the Machine, which I love as well. And we used to listen to Prodigy and stuff like that. But then I started listening to Metallica and then Slipknot. We both listened to Slipknot, but I really fell in love with Slipknot when I went to Iowa. That's one of my favorite metal records. Yeah. If I had to put a top three, that's in the top three of my favorite records.
Yeah, it's a great record.
It's untouchable, that record, still today.
Yeah. That's one of them milestone kind of records, though. There's them ones
that takes me back.
Like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Another one of them albums that
takes me back to signing into MSN Messenger at high school, trying to chat up, chicks and whatever, and just with Winamp in the background, just playing Iowa on repeat.
Get the skins for it.
Change the skins. So, put in cryptic fucking hard Slipknot lyrics as my name on MSN.
Yeah,
when you're upset or something at some chick
God
or something.
Hates Us All or something.
Yeah,
I was listening to Slayer at the time. God Hates Us All or something on there.
Or I tell you, what the fuck are you looking at? I tell you what you're looking at. Everything you ever fucking laughed at. Disaster piece lyrics. It was like full teenage angst. I think I was 15. Iowa came out right before 9/11, and on my birthday I got to see it August 31st. Came out August 26th or something, I think. And I remember it's just like it's still listening. It just transcends me back to a time like sitting in an office at my parents' house on this old fucking Dell computer with those speakers that would crackle when your phone would ring. Fucking Winamp in the background, multiple MSN fucking things opening. That's all you did. That was when you came home. That was your So it takes me back to that, and that's even a time when I learnt drop tuning and down to drop B and playing all their stuff. And then on that, I think I just got to drop B from their original record. And then they come out and start doing drop A and all this shit. And I'm like, fuck, there's a whole nother world. Yeah. Playing on this shitty Onyx,
strings hanging
24-inch fucking scale, dropping down. Yeah, strings flopping around.
Yeah.
A good time, but
hit it too hard and it goes sharp and then flat and then.
And I had a multi-effects processor then called the Boss ME33.
Yeah, I remember
It was like
them.
this big, and I'd have it on the desk, with the headphone jack.
Too,
they're shocking. But I mean, got you into everything. Yeah.
So what do you listen to now then? What music what's on your playlist at the moment?
I keep doing this thing, like I just go on Spotify and it'll be like a 2000s mix. So I'm enjoying that shit again, like we were talking about Hybrid Theories on there a lot. And,
that's a good album.
Yeah, just old metal 2000 stuff. I just kind of put that on as a bit of a throwback.
Did you follow them much after Hybrid Theory and Meteoric?
Yeah.
I listened to that Hunting Party the other day. I never heard it.
Was that an album? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's one of their albums. I think it's maybe from like 2014 or something like that. It's fucking. I don't know. I don't like it.
No, I'm lucky enough that I got to see them during that Hybrid Theory and Meteor phase. I've seen them about 4 times with Chester. It's funny. I meet people now. They go, I wish I got to see Chester. I'm like, fuck, I've seen him like 4 or 5 times.
What do you think of the new vocalist?
It's different. I mean, good on them for trying to throw something new in the mix or whatever. It's not the same, but I don't think they want it to be the same.
No, I think if they got a guy, it'd be comparisons, constant comparisons.
100%. I think it was a good move, to really fuck up the norm. I haven't given it a big enough chance yet, but
yeah.
Other than that, a friend's band coming out of Sydney, female fronted. They're called Bridge Left to Burn. They're doing some pretty hard stuff now, which is good for them. You know, young kind of people like getting involved in recording and you know, going with different producers and learning a lot. You know, and their music's writing and all that slowly has gotten much better and better. So they're killing it. I don't know, who else am I listening to that's current? I don't really. I'm just a jaded old dude. I keep listening to their.
Go back to the old the greats.
I've already forgotten their name. Hang on, let's have a look. Well, the new Black Dahlia Murder came out yesterday, so I'm an old school Black Dahlia Murder fan, so I've been listening to that. Let's have a look at my Spotify. Look at that. I've got Elvis Presley, Ella Langley, which is a country chick that has that one song, Post Malone. Black Dahlia Murder, metalcore classics, 2000s mix. There's a lot on there. There's Metallica on there every day as well, of course. There's Slipknot. What else? Oh, Kubla Khan, that's a new one. Oh, Paleface Swiss, actually. Paleface Swiss. Have you heard them? They're just hard, like deathcore, like real hard riffs and call-outs and breakdowns. And it's just the first hard band in years where I'm like, fuck, this is sick.
That's what I thought with that Kubla Khan.
Kind of same realm. Yeah. Kubla Khan's a real tough guy, like hardcore.
Like alpha.
Yeah, but
alpha core.
Yeah, but Paleface is a bit more like deathcore, like, you know, more chunky, chuggy, riffy thing, you know, a bit more going on. Who else? That's all I've got right now. Yeah. I still, a lot of, I'm just listening to old shit, basically. Yeah. Oh. That's about it for that.
What about when so do you play guitar so much these days or not?
Not as much.
Just
as I
bass
should.
at the moment.
I wish. I'm playing bass in
Dthroned.
Dthroned. Yeah, it's a creative project with my friend Rizza. He started it with his mate Shauno on vocals, and then hit me up. I want to do a film clip. Do you want to play bass in it? And then, can you find me a drummer? Can you find me someone to fucking film it? So I ended up just taking the reins on that for him.
Yeah.
We all put in together collaboratively to come up with a clip. And it's just a old school tough guy clip in a factory where we're just jamming and swinging our hair around and, you know, hard kind of hitting heavy hardcore breakdowny stuff. But I'm going to...
Are you going to write for it?
Yeah, I'm going to write with him now.
Are you going to pick up a guitar for that, or are you just going to...
Yeah, definitely. I think even if we play live, because he's got a bit of an issue with his ear, there's been discussions where I just play guitar and we get someone else to play bass. But yeah, it's just a little, you know, we're all older and have jobs and kids and whatever. And we still want to stay creative, so it's a bit of a creative outlet that he's welcomed.
Balance,
yeah, but he's welcomed me in to start writing or just learning even self-producing shit, because he's really good on all these Logic and Reaper and all that stuff, whereas I'm the type of dude that still records riffs on my phone.
I'll still do that. He's sitting in the crane cab.
You do it. Or just put your phone in the room and play. Yeah. No, but you got to keep doing it, you know. I think it's important. So, doing Dthroned. We're going to try and write some new stuff now, because it's been received pretty good. You know, a lot of people reached out and said, fuck, you're in another band. And I'm like, it's kind of a new band, but we're not looking to make a career out of it. We're just looking to scratch the itch still, you know? Yeah. So, there's that one. I've been discussing getting my old band Cold Ground out of the dirt again with all the boys we caught up recently, which is a hardcore punk band. We've got some opportunities to, you know, just play to rooms full of people, which is, we're not chasing on our own to go and, you know, try and make a career out of it. It's just like bands coming over and touring here. If they're playing the Corner Hotel or like Magnet House or something like that, and we can just open for them. It's like, why not? Yeah. We're a bunch of late 30s, nearly 40-year-old dudes that want to scratch the itch of still playing music. So, that's all I'm involved with at the moment. Yeah. But there's always something coming. I always get sent a track or... Hey, what do you think of this? I've got the itch again. I'm thinking about doing this metalcore band, or I'm thinking about doing this breakdown band, and I'm always like, there's options everywhere.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah. I want to focus more on being more creative and doing these things. I think this year, since, you know, curbing my party life and
so I was actually meant to ask you before. That's where I lost my train of thought when I was before. Obviously, you're in that environment. All the time where people are drinking. And obviously you're going to be, it's a highly social environment.
Yeah.
So it's hard if you're not inebriated
Yeah.
to be fun. But so do you ever feel like you're kind of third wheeling it because you're not drinking? Are you just kind of like a fish out of water if you stand around? You're kind of like, oh.
Well, nah, because look, you think it would feel like that. I'm 260 days sober today. So, you know, it sounds like a long time, which it is. It's the longest time I've ever been sober since I think before I was 15 years old. But I just did a European tour completely sober, focused on going to the gym, going for runs, kind of, you know, still just doing my own thing to keep my mental, you know, mental health like on track, so I don't want to slip up and drink. It's not that I had there was no...
you weren't using it as a crutch or anything? Or?
No, I mean, sure, there's times where you would like turn to a bottle and whatever else substance is to ease whatever you had going on, but you always end up in the shit like the next day or for a week. Like it's worse off. It's not worth it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't find it too hard to hang out with people while they're partying and drinking until it reaches a level of toxicity. So like, you know, the first couple of drinks everyone's having, it's all good. Everyone's loosening up and the conversations are still flowing to then say like your 8th or 9th drink, like I can't even resonate with you. What the fuck are you talking about? That's when I'm like, have a good night and going home. So, and that's fine. I enjoy going back to bed and when waking up at 6 a.m. and going for a run, you know, while seeing people out the front still having cigarettes because I haven't gone to bed yet.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fine.
So I've turned it around. I used to obviously be the one up late, still in the lobby and whatever with the last hanger-oners. But now I feel like not doing that and waking up to go and do something healthy is filling my cup up with more life rather than removing, you know, life from me. That's how I see it now. So big mindset change for me and it's a healthier, better one. And it's, I mean, everyone on my crew that I'm touring with have had nothing but good things to say to me, which shout out to them. Like, thanks for the support because getting comments about, obviously physically I'm changing, I've lost weight. Everyone keeps telling me my skin looks better. But I didn't know my skin was so shit before, but I look at photos.
You can tell people that are hitting the alcohol hard, the certain facial features and that change.
Everything looks fatigued. I look at photos from a year ago and go, fucking hell, I felt like I was good there, but I look like I've been bloated up for fucking 6 days. You know, so it's all a positive for me now. I don't, like I've been around to drinking and everything else that goes with that and not felt I need. So, no, I guess I'm a pretty headstrong person anyway. So if I kind of failed to stay where I feel like I should be now, that would probably hurt my ego more than it would, you know. Just a hangover, there's more than that. It's like, fuck, I failed, you know. And I don't like to feel that way. So
I'm the same. I don't really get peer pressure either.
No,
like I don't. People around me, I'm like, I don't need to fit in. I don't need to.
No, I don't see myself going back. I have no intention to drink or do anything again. I just feel like it's just like I said, it's taking life away rather than adding to it. And,
definitely, man. So going back to what I was before. What are your top 3 albums?
Oh, top 3 albums. You did mention this before, and I started thinking about it.
Desert Island,
and Justice for All, definitely pinnacle album.
What do you love most about that album?
It's just, it's got a bit of, it's broken. Like the guys in the band are broken. They're still figuring out their life without their beloved Cliff Burton. Obviously, I didn't know any of that when I was a kid, but there was just something about it that was so different to every other like glam rock mainstream stuff that was out. Guns N' Roses and everything. Even though I love Guns N' Roses, but I remember just seeing the one film clip and Kirk Hammett was using an all white Strat. And like at that time, like Wayne's World was a massive movie too, and I fucking loved that movie. And when he just wanted that white Strat, and then you got this guy with long hair playing this heavy hard riff, and it's just something about it. Like sonically, the sound is like it gets so much shit because there's no bass in it,
man.
But it's a wall of sound. Like it is just a wall of guitars.
I've heard it with bass on YouTube. You know, people engineering
and Justice for Jason.
It's just like it's not supposed to be heard that way.
No, so. That's where the wall of like quad tracking guitars and you just hear James Hetfield's phenomenal right hand on all those tracks. And it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's such a fun album to play as a guitarist too, like learning all the different bits and just playing along. It's got my favourite Metallica song of all time on it, which is "To Live Is to Die."
Yeah.
which is it's just an instrumental.
Yeah.
And but it's
I
just
love the middle part of that.
That's what I was going to say. That song, even when I was so adolescent and didn't even understand my emotions or anything, made me feel some shit.
Yeah.
Like that whole middle part is just. It's just sadness. It's loss. It's just grieving, and it's so epic. And like,
it is.
You're listening to just music, and you feel sadness. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's still today. Like, what is it? 30. I don't know. I think 35 years later. I think it is. I don't know. 88 was it? 86 or 88?
88. So it'd be 36 years.
I can still listen to that song and go, "Fuck, man, this is still just epic." Like it's the build up and then the sadness, and then it's triumphant. Like after you get out of that middle section as well. So it's feels like it's the cycles of grief, like that whole song. Yeah. I don't know. I just still think I love their instrumentals, always have, but I think that is the one that is just the top dog for me, and it always has been. And so that's definitely one top album, and Slipknot Iowa is another one. Yeah. Obviously the ferocity of that, and I just remember like having Kazaa or LimeWire and shit, and I'd play like live on Conan O'Brien. Yeah. And you'd spend 3 days, you'd tell your mum, "Don't unplug that fucking internet cord. I want this fucking video." Yeah. You used to collect videos back in the day like Pokemon, Yeah. And like I said, I think I was 15 there. I was wearing a lot more black shirts and Slipknot. I was not an unpopular kid at school, but I was a kid that was like outside of the norm. Like I was hanging out with popular people and cool, but I still was like fucking a metalhead and just did my own thing because I liked being different. Yeah. And Iowa was just a moment where I just think about it. I was like 15. I was just skateboarding every day. I was fucking learning how to play heavy riffs, and it's just still the whole sound and everything of that record is just unbeatable, I think, in the heavy metal world. Top 3 is hard. That's really narrowing it down, but I would have to put in there Silverchair as huge influence for me. And it's hard to choose an album, but when I usually say this album, people freak out because they think it's a bit out of there. But Diorama, which is their 4th one. Yeah. You had the grunge original, Frog Stomp, and then you had the heavy, hard rock, Freak Show, both fucking awesome albums. Neon Ballroom wasn't even meant to be a Silverchair record, but it became one, and it's depressive, and it's an amazing record too, and I got to see them on that tour. It's an iconic show that's on YouTube, and I was at that with my brother and my uncle, actually. It was fucking I still remember it to this day. But Diorama was when Daniel Johns had come out of his depressive shit and his arthritis and all this. He was getting healthier, and he wrote that record on his own, with the band, and what's his name? Van Dyke, Kurt Van Dyke, something like that. He's a dude who did the score on like Star Wars and shit. Oh, okay. So all that orchestral brass instrument, all that crazy shit, he co-produced it with this icon. Yeah, okay. And that's another record that I can put start to finish, and it's got everything on it, heavy, sad, uplifting, but the favourite track off that is my favourite Silverchair song, which is Tuna in the Brine. It's just a absolutely out there, crazy song that never repeats a part. The song has like 12 different parts, but it feels like
a prog song.
Well, essentially, yeah. And it's I don't know, it's amazing. Anyway, that's.
What about musician wise then, as far as say guitarists, vocalists? What are your top 3?
Fucking hell, this is hard. Well, I have to say James Hetfield. Yeah, of course. He's just
and for his guitaring and vocals. He gets
both. Yeah, just front man, just general. He's the king to me. Yeah, yeah. And again, I love Daniel Johns. Like always have. In all his Silverchair stuff, of course. Be honest, I'm not as big a fan of all his solo or side stuff. It's just that era of being a teenager to when he was like 21, and you go, all that music was made by someone from 14 years old to 21. It just fucking blows my mind. Who else? Fuck, this is hard. I was always a big John Petrucci fan as well. Okay. Just for technical, technical, like, it sounds like all, he can sometimes sound like he's just playing a bunch of exercises, but then he comes up with phrasing and stuff that you're just like, what the fuck? How did that come from there?
Yeah. Have you seen them live?
Yeah, I've seen them live a couple of times.
Yeah. I saw him at NAMM.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. One of my favourite solos is Under a Glass Moon. which is
Okay.
off images and words.
never been into them, to be honest. So
yeah.
I'm not,
You're
I'm not
either
familiar.
into them or you fucking hate them.
Yeah.
It's just one or the other.
I don't hate them. I've just actually never took the time to listen to them meaningfully, really. I think it was the vocals put me off.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
The polarising. It's like Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
I love his vocals, but I can see why people don't.
Yeah, it's the same. That's the same type of thing with James and Bree. Yeah, that's about it. I can't really think of right now of anyone else. I guess Dimebag, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
Made me want to play as well. You know, Eddie Van Halen. I'm just old dad dude, man, that just loves all those classics. Eddie Van Halen for sure. Like he gave us everything that we know in metal. I reckon, even the amp, the tones, the the tapping,
right,
they're playing outside of the fucking norm.
It was there's like a lot of groundbreaking things.
Yeah. But he did it like unconventionally, which I like.
Yeah.
Which is super fucking metal or punk, if you want to call it. It's like fuck you.
Another person
fuck
that did
your
that
theory.
was Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
He was really oddball kind of.
Yeah, oddballs are good. They're always coming up with
Have
kooky
you
shit.
seen Dweezil Zappa? His son.
His son. Yeah.
He did a episode of I think it was maybe with Gibson or something. And they were showing off his dad's guitar collection, and there's just like so many weird things that he's just modded guitars with.
Yeah.
Just super odd shit, and he would just do that for one thing in a song.
One song or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it just the guy must have been just been so creative.
Yeah.
Just had to have this outlet and just always doing random bizarre shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like now you're sparking my memory more to think. It's on the spot. It's harder. Paul Gilbert is another one like that.
Yep.
You know, Racer X and Mr. Big. He's always kind of fucking, playing with something. He's still doing it. If you've got him online, if you've got him on Instagram, he's still fucking around with stuff.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really fuck with modulation or anything. He's still got pedals on the ground. He's still got analog shit. Like, and he's still fucking around with magnets and slides. And he's still just living it. He's still doing it.
That's cool.
Nuno Betancourt is another one I love.
Yeah,
he's a ripper.
I suppose if you think of anyone these days that's doing stuff is Tim Henson.
Yeah.
He's probably the new age version of them kind of guys.
Virtuoso, yeah.
Kind of
Killing
doing
it,
the bizarre stuff. And then there's even that Jason Richardson's really good.
Yeah.
I met him at NAMM. He reminds me of Ben.
He's in All That Remains now, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
I was going to say to him, but I thought he might have got offended. He's like Ben Shapiro of the looks
He
like
should
him,
have,
talks like him.
Should have said it. Might have taken off.
Just when I met him, he's like talks super fast and he's got that same voice.
Yeah.
Same look.
Yeah. I played one of his music bands actually.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names playing them now. I've never liked the shape personally, but I'm sure they're a good guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing I want to ask as well, what's about metal? Why do you listen to metal? What is it about metal?
Fuck. That's another hard question. I don't know, man. I guess maybe some sort of internal. I mean, it's not always aggressive, but some sort of internal aggression or whatever you've had since a young age. It just feels like it's a release.
Yeah.
I don't know. Metal is super emotional, I think. I think it touches on all emotions that humans have and it can be expressed, like especially a loud outpouring aggression and stuff like that's not really accepted in other like pop music. You can say pop or country or whatever. They're missing an aggressive side of it, which is like a very like natural emotion in humans, like anger and aggression and stuff. It's always contained. Everyone's always taught, don't lose your temper. Or don't
when it
lose
comes
this.
out, it's usually associated with violence or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, because it makes people violent when they're bottling shit up for too long. And in the end, it's such a huge, heavy emotion that if you don't have a way to let it out, of course it's going to build up. That's why a lot of craziest people in the world are fucking quiet, considered quiet weirdos that have been contained for so long. They end up fucking losing their mind. So, and I've never been one to be quiet. So I guess music's just, metal's always resonated with me because it's very expressive and you get to do all emotions in
That's
metal.
right.
So metal's the one for me and has been. I love everything, of course, but that runs in my blood for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Anything else you want to get out there?
I don't know. Thanks for having me on here. I've never been on a podcast in my life.
I'm glad it happened, man.
Tick.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. I really
of course.
appreciate it. I'm glad we teed it up.
Yeah. No, I always got time for doing something new, and obviously this is your thing. It's good on you for getting into doing this.
Yeah, it's good fun.
It's always hard
I
to
love a
start
good
something
yarn,
new and
so,
do it. Yeah.
yeah.
So no, I appreciate it. Sick.
No worries, man. Cheers.
All right. Thanks.